What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am ranking every single Criterion film I watched in the month of July. As we all know, the Criterion sale happened last month, and yes, I stocked up on some more titles, but I really need to start actually watching them. So I dedicated myself in July and I watched 9 Criterion films. That's really good for me because usually it's none or 1 or 2. It's never a large amount like this. So I got through 9 Criterions. I figure I'll make this fun and turn it into a ranking video. If you enjoyed this video, comment down below and let me know if you want more videos like this in the future. So we're going to start off with, I hate to say the bottom of the barrel, because I'm sure this film is someone's #1 favorite out there, but personally for me, it just did not work. It wasn't my favorite. It was my least favorite. So coming in at number 9, unfortunately, is The Valley of the Dolls. Now, I picked up this Criterion probably 2.5, 3 years ago. It was one of my earliest trips that I ever did for Criterion shopping. I remember it. I remember when I found it. And the reason why I picked it up is because I've heard the reference Valley of the Dolls in the past, so it was familiar to me just a little bit. I knew kind of what the film and also the book was about because this movie is based off of a very successful book, but unfortunately the movie was not so successful. This movie is mainly about 3 ladies here on the cover in cartoon form, there we go, trying to make it in show business in the 1960s. And they're supposed to be friends, but honestly, when I watched this movie, I didn't get a friend vibe from these ladies, not like besties or anything. It kind of felt more like they were just acquaintances. Yes, we all work in the business, we rub shoulders, we see each other from time to time, but I didn't think that they were close friends. And I feel like the movie was trying to depict that, but that's something I did not pick up at all whatsoever. I don't know. I just didn't really go with this film. I didn't vibe with it for some reason. Not like it's a bad movie. It's not horrible. There's definitely some things about it I did enjoy, in particular performance-wise. And the best performance to me is Sharon Tate. Sharon Tate is the standout to me. You're rooting for her character. You want her to make it. You want her to be happy. She's beautiful. She's absolutely gorgeous. She steals every scene that she's in because you can't help but look at her. But I don't know. It just didn't go for me. It just was not my favorite, so it went to the bottom. So I'm sorry, Valley of the Dolls. We just did not mesh. I'm gonna keep you, but we just didn't work well together. Maybe on a future rewatch. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that one. All right, next in line at number 8 is The Game. This is starring Michael Douglas and also Sean Penn. They play brothers in this movie, and the reason why I picked this up is because of that reason. Michael Douglas and Sean Penn, 2 powerhouse actors working together that I enjoy both of them. Yes, indeed, I wanted to watch this movie. But the reason why it's so low on my list is because it does have an interesting plot line. So as I said, our 2 main characters, even though Sean Penn really isn't in the movie that much, I thought they were equal co-stars. That's not the case. Sean Penn is in this movie like 2 major scenes, and that's pretty much it. So they play brothers, and Michael Douglas's character has a birthday coming up, and Sean Penn wants to gift his brother the gift of a game. And he said that he personally did it. He personally did it himself. I'm sorry, I'm still sick. I'm not sure if I'm pronunciating correctly. He did it for himself, Sean Penn. So he wants to have his brother experience the game as well. So that's kind of the basic plot line of this. So Michael Douglas goes ahead and like cashes in his game card to have it start. He gets the process started, and as soon as he leaves, you're like questioning, okay, is this the game? Is this the game? Is this not the game? Are we starting the game? Like, you're kind of like You don't know what's true and what's false in this entire movie as it's running. You're always questioning everything. Is it the game? Is it not the game? Is it real life? Is this really happening? What is going on? You don't know who you can trust in this film. You really don't, because the twists and the turns that it takes. And I was going with it. But I gotta say, the ending, and I feel like this is the commonality of a lot of reviewers with this movie, the ending is very anticlimactic. It kind of just ends in just a vanilla, vague kind of way, a boring way, a predictable way, nothing that's like shocking or over the top. You're thinking that you're gonna come to like this big conclusion at the very end, and it kind of just ends on a whimper. And it kind of pisses you off just a little bit because you expected more. You invested 128 minutes in this movie, and when you get to the very end, you feel robbed. So that's the reason why The Game is so low at the bottom of my list, because yeah, it's a great idea, but the ending just completely fell flat, unfortunately. All right, number 7. Here we go. We've got The Rose with Bette Midler. So this movie, it's good. It's a good movie, but unfortunately, it's kind of long-winded. Don't get me wrong. I love Bette Midler. I think she's great. She's very entertaining. I believe this is her first movie role. And she actually was nominated for an Oscar for this film. And right, I would say rightfully so. She definitely deserved a nomination. This is not for everyone, because this film mainly focuses on her character. She is a very famous, well-known music artist, but unfortunately, she has addictions. And one of those major addictions is the addiction to her career, because throughout the entire film, she keeps saying that she wants to be done. She needs a break, a year break, a 5-year break. Like, she's at the height of her career right now, but she wants to take a break. And everyone around her is telling her, no, 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 you need to do this. You need to do this. It's a mistake. She wants to do something else. They are telling her something else. But the thing is, she says she wants a break, but she really doesn't, because she's addicted to being famous. She's addicted to the attention, the love of her fans, because she really doesn't have the love of her life. She doesn't have someone that she can really put all of true love into. So the love from her fans is how she's really existing. That's what I got from this movie. And also, she has previous addictions to drugs, and it kind of resurfaces towards the end of the film, and also alcohol. I mean, in this line of business, you're addicted to fame, drugs, alcohol. It just goes hand in hand, kind of. This is a tragic story. I mean, it ends horribly. I will say that. I was kind of shocked with how it ended. This is, I think, loosely based on Janis Joplin's life. And I think people in Janis Joplin's world at the time, like, they just didn't like this movie being done. And it was like insult. I don't know. I thought that's what I read online on the internet. I can't believe I just said on the internet, but I think that I read that somewhere. So just to give you like a reference of what this is kind of about. But like I said, it's definitely not for everyone, but the reason why it's so low is because I just love the other movies more. I love the other movies more. There's nothing wrong with this film, especially if you love the music industry and Bette Midler. This is right up your alley. You're really going to have a good time with this. But it was a lot of like push and pull and arguments, and there's, physical abuse a little bit in the movie, slapping across the face and things like that. It's exhausting. This movie is exhausting. So you got to prepare yourself to watch The Rose, but it is well worth it because the movie is well done. That was a lot. Okay. Where am I at? What is this? Number 6. Number 6, I am putting The Girl Can't Help It. This is a fun film. We have Jane Mansfield here, who is at this time was the anti-Marilyn. You had Marilyn Monroe, but if you weren't the biggest fan of Marilyn, then you loved Jane Mansfield, because pretty much she was like Marilyn Monroe's stunt double. If she had a stunt double, she looked just like her, platinum blonde hair, same exact figure with the, the big boobs and the curvy hips and everything, same exact body type. And she was really cute in this film. She plays this woman that has a boyfriend that wants to marry her, but doesn't want to marry her yet until she's famous. So he hires this guy, I guess that was an agent or something like that. He's trying to like revive his career a little bit. So her fiance or whatever hires this guy to make her famous, to make her a star. But the thing is, she does have talent, but she doesn't want to marry the guy that she's with. So she pretends that she is so talentless, and she ends up falling in love with her agent, her talent manager, the guy that gets hired. It's kind of it's not really confusing. I'm just making it overly confusing, unfortunately. I apologize. But this is a really cute film. It's kind of borderline musical, I guess, because there's a lot of music in here. As you can see from here, the Little Richard is in here, Fats Domino, the Platters, like all these big music artists from the 50s, because this was 1956. This was a fun movie to watch. There's one sequence in particular that I was laughing hysterically when it came to Jane Mansfield, because here she is, her and her manager, or the guy trying to make her famous that she falls in love with. They're going from club to club to club in one night. And he said, just walk around and try to grab attention or something. So she's like going around walking, and she is working it like no one's business. She is like, tossing her hips left and right as much as she can. And the music that's playing at the same time, it's just a hilarious sequence. And it really showed the comedic ability of Jane Mansfield. This is the first movie I've ever seen her in, but now I want to see more, because that one sequence stands out for me. And I'm like, she's a comedian. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to work it. So I look forward to watching more of her work in the future. And this was a nice, fun, quick watch, because it's only 97 minutes. So I really enjoyed The Girl Can't Help It. Okay. Going into the top 5, in 5th place, I'm putting Katharine Hepburn in Summertime. So I had like a different idea of this film for some reason. I thought this was going to be like a fun movie. This is not a fun movie at all whatsoever. This is like a tragic tale. So we have Katharine Hepburn going on a solo vacation to Venice. And you can tell she's very outgoing. She doesn't mind talking to people that she doesn't know. But at the end of the day, she's single and she doesn't have a partner, and she's lonely. And you can feel that loneliness through the screen. Like Katharine Hepburn radiates the loneliness. Like she really, really does. And while she's on vacation in Venice, her paths cross with a random stranger. She finds him handsome. She seeks him out a little bit. They start this romance, but at the end of the day, nothing can come from it, because she's on vacation. She's going to be leaving, and he's married, but she doesn't realize that he's married right away. It's revealed towards the end of the film, or I should say later on in the movie. So this is just tragedy, because you want her to find love and you think that she's found it, but it can never be, because she's just on vacation and she's leaving in 2 days and he's already taken. So I was wrong. This was not a happy tale at all whatsoever. This is it's a somber movie. That's the perfect word. It is somber. It's not epically sad where you're crying your eyes out, but you're just like, I feel sad for Katharine Hepburn. And I did feel sad for her, but I really enjoyed this one and I highly recommend it to you. All right, 4th place. In 4th place, I am putting one of the greatest tragedies that has ever existed, and that is A Night to Remember, the sinking of the Titanic. Now, this is a great alternative because, little known fact to you guys, Mama Blu-ray hates the movie Titanic. The reason why she does not care for that film is because the main focus is not on the events of the sinking of the Titanic. The main plot line of Titanic is the love story between Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio's characters, and Titanic is just like in the background. This film is the complete opposite. You have a wonderful, fantastically done black and white movie depicting the tragic events of that April evening in 1912. The focus is on the tragedy. Yes, you have a bunch of passengers, a bunch of characters, absolutely, but there's never a waning focus. It is simply on the tragic events of what happened with this ship. And so this is a great alternative. If you don't like the movie Titanic, but you still want to appreciate a movie that depicts the events, there you go. This would be my number one choice, A Night to Remember, because this film is so wonderfully done and you feel everything of what they were going through. I mean, you really can't say much about it because we all know the events of the Titanic, but it's just a well done movie. Fantastic black and white. It was a nice transfer on it, so I highly recommend this one. All right, top 3. In third place, we have 12 Angry Men, one of the Criterion staples. If you're first building your Criterion collection, this should be at the base. This is the start of your Criterion household. 12 Angry Men is a fantastic film. You have 12 men that are a jury for a murder trial, and this entire film takes place in the room where the 12 men are discussing whether they're going to vote guilty or innocent. Henry Fonda is the standout. He's the most well-known name in the movie. There's other actors that I did recognize in this film, but he is definitely the standout. His character is the only one at the beginning of the film that wants to vote innocent. Everyone else wants to say guilty and hightail it out of there. And the entire film is the unraveling of all the evidence that was presented. Was it accurate? Was it not? And slowly, one by one, the jury changes their votes, and for certain reasons. And it's the hottest day of the year. The tension is building. And this is just a fantastic film as well. Like, the top 5 films here are fantastic, but 12 Angry Men is on a different level because you just feel the pressure that the other men feel that want to vote innocent and everyone else wants to vote guilty. You feel that pressure that they're feeling, like all the emotions that are going on in this room, you are feeling as a watcher of this movie. And it's just so well done. It's a classic. It's a classic film. So I really enjoyed watching this one for the very first time. So much so, I might even pick up the Kino 4K. Okay. So what is the runner-up? The runner-up for me, surprise, surprise, is Thelma and Louise. Now, Thelma and Louise, of course, I have seen, but it's been a while. It's been a really long time since I've seen this film. Probably about at least 20 years or so. For some reason, I never picked up the Blu-ray. There's been a couple of times I was at like FYE or something, and I found it, and it was like $5.99. I was tempted to pick it up, but I always put it back. I guess I was waiting for the 4K Criterion. I don't know. But I popped this in, watched it. It is such a wonderful movie. All the memories came back. Plus being a little bit older, because I was really young when I first watched this movie. And I don't think I really understood everything of all the events happening because I was like maybe 10 or 11 when I first watched this film. And yeah, I watched it more when I got older. But being older, I kind of appreciated the entire theme of the movie just a little bit more. But the main reason why this is in second place is because this 4K transfer is fantastic. I know I've said fantastic a few times in this video already, but I'm not lying. The 4K of this is one of the best of the year, like top 5 easily. It is so beautiful to watch, and I just really enjoyed my experience rewatching this after such a long time. So that's the reason why Thelma Louise is in the runner-up place. But number one goes to After Hours 4K, directed by Martin Scorsese. So it's not my number one because it's Scorsese. I actually didn't even know he directed this film at all whatsoever. Prior to this Criterion announcement, I've never heard of this movie. This is Griffin Dunne. He's the main actor of the film. I've heard of him before. He's been in a few movies that I've seen in the past, but he never became like this huge major A-list actor. He's kind of like always under the radar just a little bit. But Griffin Dunne, one of the biggest positives is that he has great comedic timing. And this is, I would call it a dark comedy. It's not like a full-on comedy to me. It's not like a raunchy comedy. It's not like a, it's not one of those. But the plot line of this film is this man right here literally has the night from hell. Early on in the evening, he meets, what's her name? Rosanna Arquette? Yes, Rosanna Arquette. He randomly crossed paths with early on in the night. He makes the mistake of wanting to meet up with her later, and once he does, everything just snowballs. His night gets worse and worse and worse. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, it does. It's just so completely unbelievable. But I had a great time watching this film for the very first time. And that's the reason why this movie is number one and Thelma and Louise made the runner-up spot, is because I experienced this film for the first time. And I loved it. It's so outside of Scorsese's norm. And I think that's why I really enjoyed it, because I like when directors and actors and everyone kind of goes outside of their wheelhouse, what they're known for, and they do something completely different. This is a fantastic film, and the 4K looked really nice too. So this is why After Hours is my number one. I had a great time with it, so that's it. This is my number one. So those are all the Criterions ranked that I watched in the month of July. Like I said, if you enjoyed this video, then comment down below and let me know. I may incorporate it on a more regular basis. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time.